My friends, we stand at a crossroads in history. The winds of change are howling across the land. The signs are clear. The hour is upon us. The time to come back is now. For too long we have wandered, drifting away from the path of righteousness. We have turned our faces from the light, enticed by the fleeting shadows of this world. But every shadow fades, and the dawn always breaks. Look around you, the foundations tremble beneath our feet. The pillars of society, faith, and family are shaken. We hear the cries in the streets, the silent groans of a people who have forgotten their source, their purpose, their creator. But there is hope. There is a call, a clarion call echoing through the ages, a voice that pierces the darkness and calls the lost home. That call is for return. Not just a return to places, but a return to the heart, a return to truth, a return to covenant. The Scriptures spoke of times such as these days when a nation would stray, when hearts would grow cold, when justice would be trampled beneath pride and rebellion. Yet even then the promise remains, return to me, and I will return to you. This is no time for hesitation, no time for half measures or excuses. The hourglass is running low. The storms grow fiercer. The enemy is not resting. The time to come back is now, not tomorrow, not when the signs are clearer, but now. For the return is not just an act. It is a movement, a revival of spirit, a renewal of commitment, a rekindling of hope. Hear this warning, but more than that, hear this invitation. To return is to reclaim your destiny. To return is to awaken the divine spark within you. To return is to become the light in the darkness once more. Let us not wait for the breaking of the final seal or the sounding of the last trumpet to awaken our souls. Let us arise now, turn our hearts, and come back to the one who is the source of life itself. The return is at hand. Will you answer the call? Will you come back while there is still time? The time to come back is now. Certainly. Here's an expanded version of keynote number 1. We stand at a moment unlike any other in history, a crossroads where the decisions we make will echo through generations. This is not merely a point in time. It is a pivotal junction where the course of a nation, a people, and even the world hangs in the balance. The winds of change swirl with increasing intensity, shaking the very foundations of what we once considered stable and unshakable. Every generation faces challenges, but the signs around us now are unmistakable. They are clear indicators that the way forward must be reconsidered, that the path we have been traveling has led many away from what is true and lasting. At this critical juncture, there is a call for awakening, a call that cannot be ignored or postponed. History itself teaches us that crossroads are not merely physical locations, but spiritual and moral moments, points where humanity is given the choice to either continue on a course of decline or to turn back and reclaim what has been lost. This crossroads is not just about external events, but about the heart, the soul, and the very essence of who we are. It is a moment that demands clarity, courage, and above all, a readiness to return. The turmoil and confusion that surround us make it clear that the answers will not come from the world's shifting values or fleeting promises. Instead, this moment invites us to look deeper, to recognize that the true direction forward lies not in innovation alone, but in rediscovery of faith, purpose, and covenant. When a people stray from their foundations, the consequences ripple outward, touching every aspect of life, family, community, governance, and beyond. The crossroads we face are therefore both a warning and an invitation, a warning of the dangers of continued departure, and an invitation to pause, reflect, and come back to what endures. Certainly, here's an expanded version of keynote number 2. When a people stray from the path of righteousness, the consequences ripple far beyond individual lives. They infiltrate the very fabric of society. Wandering away is not simply a matter of personal choice. it becomes a collective drift that undermines the pillars that hold a nation together. This departure from truth and moral clarity breeds confusion, disunity, and ultimately, decay. History is filled with examples of societies that have flourished when grounded in justice, faith, and integrity, but have faltered when those anchors were abandoned. The erosion begins subtly, almost imperceptibly, as values once held dear are dismissed or replaced with transient ideals that promise freedom but deliver chaos. When the guiding principles that shape culture are set aside, the natural consequences follow. The family structure weakens, communities grow fractured, and trust in institutions declines. As faith diminishes, so too does the sense of accountability to a higher standard, opening the door to selfishness, pride, and division. These fractures widen until the very foundation of society becomes unstable. Wandering away is a slow drift into darkness, a gradual moving from light to shadow. The heart grows cold and the soul becomes restless. As this happens on a national scale, the effects multiply. The justice system becomes biased or corrupt. The voices of the vulnerable are silenced, and chaos takes root where order once reigned. Morality becomes subjective, truth becomes relative, and the consequences of such wandering are felt in every corner of life, from broken homes to the breakdown of law and order. It is in this wandering that the spirit of a people is tested. The longer the departure continues, the more difficult the path back becomes. The damage is not only external but internal, as guilt, shame, and despair seep into the collective consciousness. This wandering away is more than physical. It is spiritual estrangement, a turning away from the source of life and purpose, leaving a void that nothing else can fill. Certainly, here's an expanded version of keynote number 3, the very pillars that support our society. Faith, family, and justice are trembling as never before. These cornerstones, once regarded as unshakable, are now under siege from forces both seen and unseen. Faith, the foundation of hope and moral guidance, has been marginalized and dismissed in many circles, leaving a vacuum where certainty and conviction once stood. Without faith, the compass that points to truth falters, and many find themselves lost in a wilderness of confusion and despair. Family, the basic unit of society, is likewise fractured. The bonds that unite generations, love, trust, respect, and responsibility, are being weakened by cultural shifts, division, and a loss of shared values. When families falter, the impact ripples outward, affecting communities and nations. Children without stable homes, parents without unity, and households without harmony create a landscape where insecurity and instability take root. The erosion of family life is not merely a social issue. It is a spiritual crisis that affects the heart of a nation. Justice, the pillar that upholds order and fairness, is also shaking. When justice is compromised, when laws are applied unevenly or influenced by personal or political agendas, trust in institutions erodes. People begin to question whether fairness and righteousness still have a place in society. This loss of confidence breeds cynicism, resentment, and unrest. Without true justice, chaos grows, and the social contract that binds citizens together weakens. These pillars, faith, family, justice, are interconnected. When one falters, the others cannot stand firm. The shaking of these foundations is a clear sign that the moral and spiritual health of a nation is in jeopardy. The instability we witness is not accidental, but a reflection of deeper spiritual realities. It is a wake-up call, a summons to recognize that without the restoration of these core pillars, the society we know cannot endure or thrive. Certainly, here's an expanded version of keynote number 4. Amidst the turmoil and uncertainty, a powerful call is ringing out, one that transcends noise and confusion, reaching into the depths of every heart. This call is ancient yet ever new, a summons to awaken from spiritual slumber and turn back to what is true and everlasting. It is not a whisper but a clarion call, echoing through time and history, beckoning the lost, the weary, and the wandering to return home. This call is not bound by geography or circumstance. It pierces through every culture, every generation, every broken place within us. It invites a return not merely to a physical location, but to a place of reconciliation, restoration, and renewal. The voice behind this call is filled with mercy and hope, offering grace to those who have strayed and promising healing for those who answer. It is a call that invites humility, a recognition that we cannot find true peace or fulfillment on our own. It invites confession, a turning away from the paths that have led to emptiness and despair. It invites faith, a trust in a power greater than ourselves, a power that can restore what has been broken and bring life where there has been death. This call also carries a sense of urgency. It is not a call to be delayed or ignored. The longer we resist, the more difficult the return becomes, and the consequences of delay grow heavier. But the invitation remains open to all who will hear and respond. In answering this call, there is a transformation that begins within the heart and radiates outward, changing families, communities, and nations. It is a call to reorient our lives toward the source of hope and light, to embrace a way of living that honors justice, mercy, and truth. This call to return is the beginning of a journey back to the covenant that sustains us and the purpose that defines us. Certainly, here's an expanded version of keynote number 5. Throughout history, sacred writings have carried a consistent message for those who have wandered far from the path. Return to me, and I will return to you. This promise is not merely an ancient phrase, but a living, breathing declaration of hope and restoration. It reveals a profound truth, that no matter how far we have strayed, no matter the mistakes made or the distance placed between us and the divine, there is always an open door inviting us back. This promise embodies a covenantal relationship, a bond that transcends human failure and calls for sincere repentance and genuine turning. It affirms that the Creator's desire is not punishment or abandonment, but reconciliation and renewal. The invitation to return is an expression of mercy, a demonstration of unfailing love that waits patiently for the moment we decide to turn around. The power of this promise lies in its conditional nature. Return to me, and I will return to you. It requires action from us, a deliberate choice to turn away from the broken paths and toward restoration. Yet, it also assures us that the response will be immediate and full. When we make that step of faith, the barrier that once separated us is removed, and a fresh outpouring of grace flows forth. This promise has been a source of comfort to countless generations, especially during times of great turmoil and uncertainty. It is a reminder that no one is beyond hope and that the possibility of restoration remains alive. It teaches that the process of returning is not about perfection, but about the willingness to seek reconciliation with humility and sincerity. More than anything, this promise calls us to embrace hope in the midst of despair, to believe that even the darkest moments can be the starting point of a new beginning. It is an assurance that the Creator's heart remains open, waiting for the return of the wandering soul. Certainly, here's an expanded version of keynote number 6. There is no time for hesitation or delay. The hourglass is running low, and the sands of opportunity are slipping through our fingers faster than we realize. In moments like these, when the stakes are high and the future uncertain, every second counts. The temptation to postpone change, to wait for a more convenient time, or to hope that circumstances will improve on their own, is one of the greatest dangers we face. Waiting only allows the problems to deepen and the consequences to multiply. The urgency of the moment demands immediate response. The longer we delay, the heavier the weight of regret becomes, and the more difficult it becomes to turn back. Time is relentless, and it does not pause for reflection or indecision. The clock ticks forward, unyielding, calling us to act before the opportunity passes beyond reach. This urgency is not meant to frighten, but to awaken. It is a call to rise above complacency and to recognize that the moment for return is now. There is power in swift action, in turning toward restoration with courage and conviction. The decision to come back, to embrace change and renewal, cannot be postponed without cost. History shows us that great awakenings and revivals often begin not with slow, tentative steps, but with decisive moves made in response to the pressing need of the hour. When people respond quickly to the call to return, the transformation is profound and far-reaching. The window of opportunity, however, is narrow and requires us to be vigilant and willing to respond with urgency. The sands of time remind us that delay is itself a choice, one that can lead to missed blessings and deepen the divide. But the moment to return remains open, beckoning us to seize it now, to act while there is still time to restore what has been broken and to reclaim what has been lost. Certainly. Here's an expanded version of keynote number 7. The return is not simply an individual act or a momentary decision. It is a movement, an awakening that stirs the heart and transforms communities. It is the beginning of a revival, a rekindling of the spirit that breathes new life into weary souls and tired nations. This movement is fueled by a collective desire to restore what has been lost, to heal wounds, and to rebuild foundations that have long been shaken. Revival is not merely about emotional excitement or temporary enthusiasm. It is a profound renewal that touches every aspect of life, personal, social, spiritual, and cultural. It moves beyond surface level change to the roots of identity and purpose. When revival takes hold, it inspires humility, repentance, and a deep hunger for truth and righteousness. It ignites a passion that compels people to live with intention, to seek justice, and to walk humbly in their calling. This movement of return grows as more individuals and communities respond to the call. It spreads like a flame, crossing boundaries and breaking down walls. It unites those who might otherwise be divided, creating a shared commitment to a higher cause and a common vision for restoration. The movement is characterized by a spirit of hope that refuses to be extinguished despite obstacles and opposition. Renewal through return also means a renewal of relationship between people and their Creator, between neighbors and communities, and within families. It brings reconciliation where there has been division and healing where there has been hurt. This movement challenges complacency and inspires action, reminding us that the power to change lies within a collective turning back to what is true and good. In this movement, there is a growing awareness that true transformation is only possible when it begins with the heart, when the spirit is awakened and the will is aligned with divine purpose. This revival calls for persistence, faith, and a willingness to step into the difficult but necessary work of restoration. Certainly, here's an expanded version of keynote number 8. Returning is more than a simple act. It is a profound awakening that stirs the depths of our being and sets our lives on a new course. When we come back, we reclaim not only what was lost, but also rediscover the purpose for which we were created. It is an awakening of the soul, a recognition that life has meaning beyond the temporary, and that true fulfillment lies in alignment with a higher calling. This awakening is like a spark that ignites a dormant fire within us, rekindling passion, hope, and determination. It breaks through the numbness and despair that so often accompany wandering, breathing new energy into weary hearts. Returning restores clarity to confused minds and peace to troubled spirits, replacing aimlessness with intentionality. Hope is a key fruit of this return. It is a hope grounded not in mere optimism or wishful thinking, but in the certainty that comes from reconnecting with the source of life and truth. This hope sustains us through challenges, strengthens our resolve, and motivates us to persevere when the path is difficult. It is the foundation upon which renewal and transformation are built. Purpose is rediscovered in this process of coming back. When we return, we realign with the calling placed upon our lives, the mission that transcends personal desires and touches the greater good. Purpose gives meaning to our struggles and direction to our journey. It calls us to live beyond ourselves, to serve others, and to contribute to something eternal. The return, therefore, is not an end but a beginning, an awakening that ushers in a new season of growth and impact. It reshapes identity and fuels a desire to live fully in the truth that once was lost. This process renews not only individuals, but also families, communities, and nations, as hope and purpose ripple outward from the heart of each person who chooses to come back. Certainly, here's an expanded version of keynote number 9. The call to return is more than a plea. It is an invitation to reclaim something deeply valuable, our true destiny. In the hustle and bustle of daily life, it is easy to lose sight of the grand purpose for which we were created. Wandering away from that purpose leads to confusion, frustration, and a sense of emptiness. But to answer the call to return is to take hold once again of the path that leads to fulfillment and meaning. Destiny is not something vague or distant. It is the divine plan written on the heart of every person. It is the unique design and purpose that each of us carries, a calling that beckons us to live intentionally and courageously. When we stray, we risk living a life far beneath what we were meant to achieve, missing the abundant life that is possible when we align with our true calling. Reclaiming destiny means more than personal success or achievement. It involves embracing the role we play in the larger story of our communities and nations. Our destinies are intertwined with the well-being of those around us, and our return has the power to influence and inspire others. By coming back, we step into a legacy that extends beyond ourselves, a legacy of faith, hope, and renewal. This call to reclaim destiny also demands courage. It asks us to face the fears, doubts, and regrets that may have held us captive. It requires us to turn away from paths that lead to destruction and to choose instead the way of life that honors the Creator and uplifts humanity. Destiny is not handed to us. It must be embraced with intentionality and boldness. Ultimately, to answer the call is to awaken to the fullness of life, to live as we were meant to live, with purpose, passion, and impact. It is an invitation to step out of the shadows of wandering and into the light of destiny fulfilled, where every step forward is a step toward the greater good and eternal significance. Certainly, here's an expanded version of keynote number 10. The moment to answer the call is not in some distant future, but right now. Procrastination, hesitation, or waiting for the perfect time only serve to delay the blessings and restoration that come from turning back. The time to come back is now, not tomorrow, not next week, not when circumstances seem easier, but this very moment. There is power in immediacy, in the willingness to respond without delay. Every day that passes without a return deepens the distance between where we are and where we were meant to be. The longer we wait, the more the distractions of the world cloud our judgment, and the harder it becomes to hear the call clearly. Time has a way of dulling the urgency, making it easy to forget the importance of the choice before us. But the truth remains, this is the hour to act. The decision to come back is both personal and communal. Individually, it means acknowledging where we have strayed and choosing to realign our lives with truth and purpose. Collectively, it means rallying together to restore the values, relationships, and foundations that uphold our communities and nations. When many respond to this call at once, a powerful wave of renewal begins, a wave that can sweep away despair and bring hope to the darkest places. This is a moment of grace, a divine opportunity to reclaim what has been lost and to walk forward with renewed strength and vision. The choice to return is a step toward healing wounds, rebuilding trust, and rekindling the flame of faith. It is a courageous act that requires humility, faith, and commitment. The call is clear, and the invitation stands open. The time to come back is now, before the door closes, before the opportunity slips away, before the consequences grow heavier. It is a call to rise, to turn, and to embrace the new beginning that awaits those who are willing to return.